So before we get this started, I must address a few things. One, I do know who Incase is. And two, yes, I am a man of culture, and I do not regret knowing these things. So, no more questions about that, alright?
FBI, open up!
How's it going, folks? Jack here with another reaction. So today we'll be going back to what Seth knew best to do. That of reviewing games that is as old as, should we say, like, 2/3 of his audience. Like, Might and Magic is hella old. Okay, the 8th one I did play because that was rather functional and there were a lot of hacks in there, but the previous title I haven't touched. Too weird for me. Like, Heroes of Might and Magic I can get into, like, actually, this is more like a 4X game. This is Age of Wonders 4. The whole series is fucking nice, okay? So I really like that they made this one. And for the people who have seen the thumbnail of this video, this is not straight up a goblin female, more like an orc mummy, so we're getting close to that. Well, anyways, the Might and Magic series, as you know, kind of has some of the elements of 4X games, but isn't exactly that. Combat is very similar and some of the progression mechanics are similar to that. But Might and Magic is like a relic of a forgotten time, which of course going back to can look pretty charming, but I would not stress myself to go through the game again. But this is why I'm checking out a review, so without further ado, let's jump into this one.
Hey people, Seth here. Today I'll be reviewing an old RPG classic and a childhood favorite of mine, Might and Magic 7 for Blood and Honor, as follow-up to a poorly edited review of Might and Magic 6 that I made and people somehow liked. Might and Magic 7 may honestly be, in my opinion, the best game in the series, due to streamlining many of the problems of a previous title while refining character progression, and most importantly, adding replayability. So with that said, let's talk about the insane plot. Continuing on from Might and Magic 6, the Kriegans, space-traveling devil aliens that breed like crazy and produce too many children to be sustainable, have been repelled from the land of Enroth because some deadbeat adventurers beat their ship's nuclear reactor to a pulp. Meanwhile, on another continent separated by sea, Erathia is receiving its own fair share of demonic infestation.
I almost forgot that you have sci-fi mixed into this one. It's not just magic. Sure, there's the typical plot of teleporting into a new world, but nuclear devices and also the return of that stupid uncle. I forget his name, but the plot here is fucking weird.
To top it off, other aliens crash land their ship into the local ocean. After a disagreement over gender identity, they part ways and disappear. This is all told by an FMV sequence at the start of the game, which ends with you being blinded by Karl Marx's bullshit. The party has no clue about any of this because
all my Disco Elysium boys who chose the Mazovian theory will agree with this.
All he has managed to do is make himself sad. He is starting to suspect Krasmezov fucked him over, personally, with his socio-economic theory.
They're deadbeat adventurers who start off the game on a treasure hunt organized by Lord Markham, a useless bureaucrat who wants to pawn off the land of Harmondale to a group of unwitting idiots. And what better place to do it than on Emerald Island, a world-famous resort rated 1 star for health and safety, 5 years running. If you ignore the swarms of man-eating dragonflies and the resident red dragon living in a cave literally 50 meters from town, it's actually a rather nice place. You eventually win the contest, due in no small part to the fact that all the other contestants are congenitally malformed and suffer learning difficulties. Lord Markham quickly gives you the rights to Harmondale and fucks off. Once you actually arrive to Harmondale, your butler informs you that the keep has been occupied by goblins and fallen into disrepair. Even after race cleansing the place, the goblin smegma is so heavily set into the brickwork that only dwarven bleach can hope to remove it. So you travel to the Barrow Downs, an actual place in the Hobbit. Agree to help the bearded Jews in exchange for some max-strength Sillet Bang. The bleach melts down all traces of goblin ejaculate and makes the place nice enough that people start fucking caring about Harmondale again.
I might just comment on this. People who have a thing for short stacks, in case is the artist for you.
Since Harmondale is contested territory. Thanks, Markham. The elves send their ambassador who explains that Harmondale is rightful elvish clay and was only conquered by humans because elves subsist on a free-range, non-GMO diet of lettuce and avocado, which makes their bones brittle and their skin crack from loud noises.
It could be
the human
keto.
ambassador explains eloquently that Harmondale is currently Arafian territory because of previous acts of elvish aggression, such as existing and forgetting to place a "Do Not Invade Me" doormat at the entrance. Here you can choose to either side with Queen Catherine of Arafia or the shirtless elvish king from the Tularian forest. Whichever side you choose, hostilities between the regions increase until the Seer of Harmondale passes away. As the Lords of Harmondale, the diplomatic process of choosing a successor falls on you. The Wizards of Bracada Desert suggest picking their soft-spoken ambassador to quell the fighting and attempt to bring peace, while the Necromancers of Deja also bring their candidate to the table, an unqualified and inexperienced paper pusher who will only lobby in their interests and has no patience for diplomacy.
Hell,
Which
he
candidate
looked the
you
part.
pick determines the rest of the game, whether the elves and humans settle their border disputes or break into all-out war. The faction you choose to endorse will then invite you to talk further and figure out what's actually going on. The aliens that crash-landed on the planet are actually ancients that split off into two opposing ideologies and now command each respective group. You'll be tasked with sabotage, assassination, and subterfuge to foil the plans of the opposing ancients.
I mean,
Once
just look at that. Except for the one thing, we've been unable to find the oscillation of a thruster on your world. So do you need, as always, to find a ship? It's like playing through a plot of that series that DC's Legends, right? Where they're just going back in time and messing up every single timelines.
all this is completed, the final mission of the game is to literally get diving suits and go deep into the ocean. There at the bottom, you'll find the crashed remains of their ship, together with all the ship's security. If your party survives the onslaught, you can obtain the ship's control cube, guaranteeing victory for your chosen faction. The light side uses it to make a fucking Stargate that can dial other planets, while the dark side ending is pretty much what politicians and lawmakers think 3D printing is, with the leader using the control cube to print infinite copies of laser pistols,
Sure.
which he immediately tests on the follower, and everybody cheers. Might and Magic 7 plays similarly to the previous title, with an extended set of possible races to pick, such as goblins, dwarves, elves, and humans, and new classes, including rangers, which are jack-of-all-trade archers, monks, who are second to knights in fighting ability but use their fists, and thieves, which have exclusive access to the stealing skill that's good for being permanently barred from stores across the game. Your party also runs by default, unlike in Might and Magic 6 where you had to slam down the shift key all the time. The biggest changeover from 6 is that all characters now have skill restrictions according to their class promotion. What I
Yeah.
mean by this is that in the game, each class has 3 possible promotions. So, for a sorcerer,
To have
that
the
would be to
28th.
wizard, and from wizard, either an archmage, if you chose the light path, or a lich, if you chose the dark path.
Do y'all remember the A400? That used to be hell of expensive. AMD hadn't even gotten their feet into the market back then.
You need to progress through the game, perform difficult promotion quests, and pledge allegiance to a faction before unlocking the true potential of your class strengths. For a sorcerer,
is-
this would mean that they could reach expertise in all elemental schools of magic, but will only be able to reach mastery and learn master-level elemental spells after their first promotion to wizard. Something
see.
very critical for game-changing spells like Town Portal and Flight, which could previously be picked up and used from level 1 in Might and Magic 6, so long as you knew the respective magic type. In general, Grand Mastery of a skill requires you to finish your final promotion quest. Most classes can learn most of the skills available,
Nice.
but may be locked out from mastery or even expertise. The most extreme example of this is Alchemy, Grand Mastery of which is class restricted to a fully promoted druid, meaning that if you want to make black potions, the best potions in the game that can confer permanent stat bonuses and cure nearly every condition, you'll need a druid in your party. The game is shorter than Might and Magic 6 and encourages you to at least play through both of the different sides, and thus try a different party of adventurers. Even if you pick a party of 4 monks or something ridiculous, the game is entirely completable, as towns can be filled with hirelings and NPCs that can compensate for skills or spells that you lack,
Oh yeah,
in
that's
exchange for some of the
true.
gold you earn.
That's true, you can actually recruit people in that way. And then in Might and Magic 8 you can have up to 8 members in your team. Or is it 6? I could be wrong about that. But either way, you can recruit civilians.
Because you can spacebar anytime to go into turn-based mode or switch into real-time combat, you'll find yourself plowing through dungeons very quickly with some experience. And there's a lot of fighting in this game.
Ugh,
There's a reason they called this genre of RPGs blobbers. You go from killing goblins, to killing sluts, to killing behemoths and titans. And all the sprite work is gorgeous, together with orchestral music written for each area. Might and Magic VII also added its own card game that you can play in taverns, and receive a generous tournament prize if you manage to beat all 13 innkeepers across the world.
Okay.
Archmage is incredibly fucking fun, and requires you to pick and adjust your strategy to beat the opponent in time, with multiple victory conditions existing, such as building your towers to a certain height, reducing your opponent's tower to 0, or winning through attrition in long games by accumulating enough resources. Both players
Cool.
draw from an identical shuffle deck, so learning all the possible cards and how to play against them doesn't take long at all. To close off, Might and Magic VII is probably the tightest of all the Might and Magic games created in the series, and genuinely just a whole load of fun. It's a very comfy game as well, the type of thing you can play after work with a hot cup of coffee under the blankets. If you're interested in getting a copy, there's shared discs all over the internet, although I would personally recommend you get the goodoldgames.com copy of the game, since they repackaged it into a single installer that doesn't require the disc to run, and has the music files playing without the need for a screeching optical disc drive. I've also quietly attached a link to my copy. As always,
Nice.
hope you enjoyed the video. I'm no longer inactive because I'm doing my master's thesis for a whole year. Unfortunately, that means I'm in the labs all week and can't really do my old job at the same time. So, I'm making this my job. Seth is shilling out, and with your hard-earned dollars, you can pay a medical professional to avoid his responsibilities and delay starting a family. If you just want to leave a tip, there's a link to my PayPal. If you want to go all out, I made a Patreon. It's a per-video basis, so you only ever pay when I actually make something. So your money's safe. Coming soon. Have a good one.
No need to rush it, Seth. The making a family part. I'm very surprised that our old favorite medical professionals did not go in depth about the anatomy of the female goblin. But at the same time, perhaps a good thing that he didn't. But guys, thanks so much for checking out this video. As always, please do go and subscribe to Seth. If you like this one, give the video a like. And I wish you all to have a wonderful day. See you guys in the next one. Bye.